Happy New Year, Libra. Happy New Year to you. Alright, if you are new to this space, it is called Opal Oracle. Welcome. And if you're returning, of course, welcome back. Alright, so 2022, how exciting. I hope that it's really good for you. I have a good energy about it, so that's always nice. Alright, what do I want to share first before I jump into your cards? And we will go month to month. Side note, I also decided to do timestamps. You like they're my holiday party nails. I decided to include timestamps for each month, so you can reference throughout the year if you so do desire. Oops, excuse me. Perhaps that would make it a little bit easier, right? Putting a little bit more effort in or time in will definitely make things smoother in the long run. And you actually had this analogy that was, you know, when your socks start to slouch a little and you can just feel it. It's not like it's a problem. It's just kind of like something's slipping a little. You just tug it, and when you tug it, it just feels so good, right? It's all. So I guess this is also some sort of comfort in a very stabilizing way. It could have a lot to do with what you believe and the faith that you've been building in yourself and about this life. Good, Libra. Very good. Okay, so everyone received 4 two-word phrases. Yours are flying high, soft reflection, tock. Aquarius, I believe, also mentioned that. Time management, yes. You're an fellow air sign, air brother. In your last one, which happened after I finished your prayer too, is little smile. Now, this is not to state that there will not be big, huge smiles or big, huge belly laughs about things, but it's that little smile where, well, it's sort of like a excitableness that's peaceful, right? It's a contentment without having to be boastful about it, right? Because it's, regardless of the external, it's this inner knowing which connects you to a wider thing. Okay, flying high, soft reflection, tock, little smile. All right, let's jump in here. We'll take a breath and January. Okay. We have the Chariot card and the card of Sagittarius. Oh, I wanted to mention that too. You do have a connection to Sagittarius and Capricorn, especially if you have any you're square to Capricorn, which is fear. So if there's anything you're like questionable about, this could also help you to stabilize. Cancer is also your other square. But you're sextile to Sagittarius, which is about learning. And it's a kind of, I feel like this will be a reinforcement of what you've been learning to a certain extent. Okay. Chariot and Sagittarius, just a second. Well, I suppose some of you could be traveling in this time, literally. You're also, it's where you are and where something else is. Maybe you're making plans to travel in the future too, where you're thinking, okay, well, in the summer, I'd like to do this. That kind of, right, for instance, you can't do certain things in winter, but you can in summer, these different seasons. I would also say that you're feeling pretty strong about, like comfortable, confident about what it is that you do know. And also realizing that there's certain armor that you still use kind of subconsciously in connecting further to something that you're kind of just recognizing when that shows up, or when that arises. I guess some of you could also receive an offer, or maybe this is a thing like, I'm actually seeing this very specifically, where it's like, oh, you're going to go travel for work, or you could travel to learn something, or to expand something. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, there's a Cancer full moon, right? This is also looking, this is interesting to me that January, which is Capricorn, so they say, is looking at the opposite of Cancer. And then it's also looking at Sagittarius all the way to the end of the year. So maybe this is also a very nice time, especially with Venus in retrograde, is to figure out how you want things to feel. 6 months, 12 months. These could be goals for you, just maybe smaller ones that have to do maybe more with an emotional space or an intellectual space. It could be something that's also physical for some of you too, like where you want to be. But I feel like that, I heard that's a longer story, or it needs more details. And then I saw the word edit. Okay. I feel like we could stay with that one for a minute. Let's use the Chariot energy and move forward. February. Okay, interesting. Retrograde with the Hierophant. Could be going back and trying to, somebody's trying to go back and fix something, or someone's trying to, well, this retrograde is making it look like, because it's also a symbol, this R with the slash is a symbol of medicine, right? So there's spiritual medicine here. That's cool. Someone could be convincing you, Libra, of something, or maybe could be the one that's expressing something where you're kind of like, it could be to your partnership, your spouse, whatever, your family, but you're kind of like going over something again. Now I see some people are very responsive to that. Certain people are responsive to that. Other people could be like, I don't want to hear Blue Jay. Yeah, like, I don't want to hear it, or something like that. What's that about? Or maybe there's just a difference of opinion. That's okay. I also feel like this is in a I just saw this in a very collective way of people coming back into God, or like coming back into, even if they're fun. I guess we'll take this. This is your reading. Whatever your spiritual space is, or the definition of that, it's sort of like adding structure around a spiritual space, or with a spiritual space. Do you know what I mean? February could also be a time where you go back to, it's not going back to the drawing board. It's like going back to something that you already know. Maybe there was something where you were like, I really want to go kind of back to where that place was. But this isn't this isn't like a, I don't want to move from the past. It's, I want to understand more of the past, or understand what it was, so that I can connect more with people now. Okay, cool. Taurus, I guess retrogrades also represent working hard. So this could also be something working hard with Taurus, or working hard within your 5th house, which is about what you're creating. It could be going back in, what did we talk about? Well, that flying high is really beautiful because it gives you the opportunity to kind of disengage. You also have 2 majors here in a row, but they're soft ones, right? They're more about faith than anything. But that flying high gives you a really beautiful perspective. But usually, well, birds are air, so it makes it sharp. And has talons and claws, right? But it's this soft reflection of the feathers of the bird versus the talons in the beak. Does this make sense? All right, let's keep moving. That's a cool month. I like that. Maybe you also want to go back to, if this is your relationship, a relationship, work, whatever it is, wherever you're at in that situation, what was the beginning of it? How did you feel in the beginning of it? Or what was it that really drew you into that? You know, say like that project, that person, that situation, whatever. Like, what was it that put you there in the first place, or that you, where it gave you faith? You know what I mean? I heard even if certain perspectives have changed. Okay. Cool, Libra. March. Ooh. Opposition with the King of Swords. The first thing I saw March was you can handle anything. But sometimes how you handle the thing is with one of your special magic powers, which is grace. Right? Patience. Being able to take that even more passive role, it doesn't diminish your intelligence. If anything, it's quite wise, right, to see what you're working with, observe what you're working with, see what is too much, where there's any conflict in you. Although I feel like this is, you're pretty straight about something, like you're pretty solid. There could be other people who have, again, sometimes like there's an opposition of understanding, or like, but it's intellectual. It's like an opinion. That doesn't matter. Everybody looks at things differently, right? And it's good to be objective in this time, and I feel like that's what's happening. So March, I see no need to react to anything emotionally, or if you're feeling very emotional, it wouldn't be a time to speak, sign a contract, call that person. It will end up being frictional. I mean, it is Pisces time, which is always to me a little murky anyway, but I like that you have the King of Swords here. It's like you can see the ocean, but you know that it's not, for instance, the time to go into, you know, when do you go swimming or not? But you can tell how you feel, right? And also by observing. Observing the water. I guess this could also be Marches where you have a lot to do. There's like an independent thing. Maybe there's something you want to do, but somebody else doesn't want you to. That's weird. What's that about? Oh, I guess you could end up clearly stating what an issue is with another person. But if you can approach that from, again, objective and loving, graceful, peaceful place, which I see if you wait long enough, you'll realize you don't really have to say anything. But because Libra sometimes has to learn how to speak up for themselves, if that is part of your lesson, and again, it feels graceful, peaceful in there, then speak your mind and don't worry about the opposition. Do you know what I mean? But if there is an opposition, once an opinion is stated in some kind of way, or like something is expressed, then you just, okay, however that wants to react, let it be. Yes, Capricorn, it's just like, okay. Because what do they say? I heard that country song, it's like, if you don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything. Do you know what I mean? So even if you had an opinion, for instance, that's different than your whole family, then whether this is religious, intellectual, political, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever even if everyone else thought differently than you, it doesn't matter, because remember, Chariot and Hierophant, it's like, how do you feel? This is about your little smile of your knowing, your feeling, right? All right, let's keep it moving. April. 12th house with the Knight of Cups. Okay, it's your first water. Maybe you finally give in a little bit. You give in a little bit. There's a game of cat and mouse. Maybe somebody's been trying to say they're sorry to you for a while, but it wasn't quite enough. Something like that. This could have had to do with the month before too, but I feel like that's still an older thing. But okay, so let's focus. It keeps... Oh, did you hear that hawk? It's so close. Where is it? Oh, it's a blue jay mimicking the hawk. Liar! Gotcha. Okay, let's look at this that way. Because Knight of Cups with the 12th house is kind of like, I heard I love you, but I don't trust you. Right? Because well, some things are real and some things are pretend. Right? Some things are and then they aren't. That's okay. This has more to do with emotional things, with other people. Love. This has to do with love, you know. You have to trust yourself here, right? Because even though that blue jay was pretending to be a hawk, which I should have known better. Hawk generally wouldn't caw that close, right? Or cry is what a hawk is. They wouldn't cry that close. But we were still happy about it, right? We were like, oh, hawk, you're so close. And then realized and then called it out and then came to find some sort of a better place about it. Saturn. So maybe you have to say no here. I mean, it's up to you. Some of you could surrender and be like, okay, yes. Like you get over something and you say yes. And others of you, the lesson is to realize that it doesn't matter what people say, right? It's about what they do. Whether they do what they say. And so the lesson for some of you would be to say no. And to surrender. Again, there's not any less love in the situation by any means. It's just freeing yourself from something. Okay. And I also see if some of you have been like single or you're just sort of dating too. It could be where someone really expresses a lot of love and it's like you finally surrender and be like, I love you too. Like you allow yourself to really Cancerian energy, like really express how you feel. It could also be you saying you're sorry, but I feel like this is somebody else too. It wouldn't be a time of control, like trying to control somebody else or trying to, I don't know, go back to the past and, I heard manipulate things. Is that about Capricorn? No, it's you'll know what's going on by what has already been done. Okay. May. Waning moon and the 4 of Cups, more water. Okay, so some of you that lesson was, this is showing more of a, or more of, I guess, a collective sense of kind of more of that being like a release of sorts, or that's kind of the purpose of it. April, May, You may not be satisfied with something. Someone's not satisfied with something. Or they're not ready. They don't feel ready for something. I do feel like April trickles into May. So I guess I need you to remember that all of the love that you have ever given, wherever that may be, to whomever that was and is relevant. It is nurturing. It is an act of service. And perhaps for some of you, you have to be like, nope, for me to take care of me, can't do that. Sorry. Like something like this. Not as sassy though, although I did cross my arms there. It's more of a, I need some space. You may need some space in this time. I guess for any of you also having to do with family, if you've been doing a lot for them, but you've been expecting things and you have not been expressing that your expectation in whatever the game is, then somebody feels like unappreciated, perhaps. And so I guess just remember that this time, May, for you, I guess this is you're in conjunct to yourself. This is an adjustment time for Libra energy, so in Taurus season. So this, again, is a time for you to nurture and take some quiet time to yourself. Even if your loved ones are like, what's the matter? Like, what did I do? Be like, I need some space. That's all. Make a boundary there. Okay, let's see June. Ooh. Lilith and the Ace of Swords. Holy smokes. That's strong. Well, you heal something with Lilith. Wherever it is that Lilith makes a mess for you, I heard. Because she can be a troublemaker, you know, in your chart. She has a lot of beautiful power of sovereignty and her own opinion. But it's like you gain some sort of knowledge and truth. You went from the King of Swords to the Ace of Swords here. March to June. So you're overcoming a fear here. That's awesome. Whoa. Libra. Can you see that? Libra. Overcoming a fear in yourself. Some of you, this could be like having to do with, well, she has a lot to do with relationships, and particularly she also connects a lot to sex or intimacy in certain kinds of way, and fairness. So some of you are overcoming a fear of commitment, or having a different conversation now. Being able to see something that's right in front of you that you maybe used to ignore or was hidden in the shadow, and it's like now you can see it very plainly. This could also be a time for you to be celibate, regardless of your relationship status. Even for this month, it would be very helpful. Just kind of, I heard clear about it, or clean, because you're cleaning something. Maybe some of you need new sheets too, or like a new bed, or I don't know. You want to check out your bedroom, because that has a lot to do with intimacy, right? And rest. Let's see July. Waxing crescent with the King of Pentacles. Awesome. That's your first Earth to come out besides the Hierophant, which is also sort of Taurus. So you have double Taurus here, Cancer. Interesting. Okay. July. Well, there could be really awesome accomplishments at work. This could also be where, because you've been working so hard, you now have something, like you have more time for creativity. There's definitely a lot of growth in this time too. It's beautiful. You're like, oh my God, this is growing so much. You know what I mean? But it's not like again, it's that little smile. It's not like, yeah, like, oh my God, look what it's not that. It's this. It's like, all right. Okay. Right? Not getting too excited or because you feel like you're going to fail, but because you're just contented with what's in front of you. Which has a lot to do with what you have done before, right? What you've been building and growing. The King of Pentacles, it goes all the way from the Ace all the way to the King. Really amazing. I guess someone else could be someone's very, how do I explain this? Like almost in awe. It's like, how did you do that? Someone's asking, like, how did you do that? Or like, wow, I heard, wow, this is interesting. Okay. Okay, we'll leave it like that. August. Nice. First house with the Queen of Pentacles now. Now we have the Queen and the King of Pentacles. Okay. Well, super solid in yourself. I heard, I am able, I am capable. You need to remind yourself also that you are confident. This is where also, if you get into a place where you're like a little worried or like a little bit uncertain about something, how stable, like how grounded your feet are, you are, then this is also tapping into Capricorn again. I feel like their reading could be very helpful for you this year. I heard I am strong, I am capable. And wherever it is that you do feel a little bit weak, if you need to know that you can change that with you're figuring out what's important here. And this card's ruled by Saturn. That's why it's kind of like she's looking down, contemplating with what she has, right? But this has a lot to do with not only the external world, but what you've also been building in yourself. And how you want to share that. Or whether you feel deserving of it. That could be a part of it, is where you're like, do I deserve this? Am I supposed to? Even though, like, because something's right in front of you, you're like, am I supposed to do that? You're thinking a lot about it. So maybe you also want to ask somebody's opinion, or you might want to tap back into this reading or your notes for this year, something like that. September. 8th house with the Death card. Well, that's a huge transformation. I suppose someone in your family could pass, or they're having a lot of changes in there's somebody having major changes in their lives, in their life. It's becoming something else in a really, really, really big way. I guess I also see a bit of inheritance here, or something that comes, but it's almost like something that comes, you gain something by not having something. There's like a trade-off. But I see that it's positive. It's definitely a soulful lesson. Yes, I connect with the so it's connecting something by disconnecting from something. I would also say this has something to do with Scorpio strongly. Your Scorpio in your chart will be highlighted in this time. I mean, no, I see no need to, you don't have to expect anything. Like, don't expect anything. I heard, what did I see? Not because your efforts are futile. Because if you enjoy it while you do it soulfully, then, and it's loving, then you're golden. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to worry about punishment that way. And I guess whatever your 8th house is also, I mean, it's a house of intimacy in a way, right? It's a house of learning and big, big life lessons. So I guess this is maybe something you've been working on for the last, I don't know, 3-4 years too. Particularly the last, yeah, I see again, 3-4 years. There's something about that where you're stepping into a new space. Let's see what the next month is. October, yes, your birthday. Okay, we have last quarter and the Hanged Man. So then we have another major. So yeah, it's like a whole new, like a new, how do I see this? Well, you let go. That's the blue jay. That's not the hawk. See, because now we know. Now we know, right? October. This is definitely a time for forgiveness. I feel like there's a great elevation of awareness. This is also a great time for you to be, you have the ability to be adaptable or malleable or kind of like very, or rather, and very patient in this time. Because remember, you just went through death and I transform. That after this comes a transition. It's an in-between stage. You'd want to probably rest a little bit. I just saw the word progression. But that kind of combines forgiveness and adaptation together. Okay, November. 7 of Cups. With the 9th house. Although I kind of saw this as the 11th too. November. Just a second. Soft reflection. Sometimes you want to be take that flying high, right? And then the soft reflection until tick tock, you wait a little bit until that little smile comes. Okay? Once it's there, this is like a little door that's open, and that'll help you exactly point you to which way you want to go, and you are meant to go, that is for your highest good, so that you don't get wrapped up or confused in what you're supposed to choose or what you already know, or how to apply the knowledge that you already have and use that wisdom. I would also say this is a great time for you to talk to yourself about what you know in relation to other people. Like, what have they taught you? Right? And I specifically just heard, and I know that was toxic. You know what I mean? Like, now, but there isn't like judgment around it. It's just recognizing what's healthy or not. And again, through the patience, which has a lot to do with, well, I guess something about your ideals, but most importantly, your morals, right? And your kind of ethics, this Chariot Hierophant. You definitely have options here in November. Maybe that's something, Libra always has many options. So maybe you just want to say to yourself, okay, I know I got a lot to choose from here, or I heard I have a lot to do. And then I saw the word distance. So that's, again, you want to take the high, again, fly high, soft reflection, right? The feathers, not the talon or the claw. Wait a little bit until that little smile comes, December. Waning crescent with the 5 of Pentacles. Well, the 5 of Pentacles is no big deal because you already had the King and Queen of Pentacles. So this has less to do with money. It has more to do with okay, remember that thing in May? Or how you were feeling when we were talking about the nurturing yourself? Let me see. Wheel of Fortune and what? The Star. Okay, so this is a great healing then. And it does come from surrender, and I feel like that was the Hangman right before. Again, Sagittarius, Libra. Perfect. And this actually, I'm seeing the word reflection in here too. So maybe some of you also, because you're seeing this reading now and we're talking about the end of next year, this also could be a nice time to remind yourself for through this year is to look at where you spend your money, or where you spend your time, how you spend your time, but particularly on different things, like how much money do you spend on food? I feel like this is an overall budget, especially those of you who have like a family, children, multiple people in the scenario. But regardless, you could be a solo person, great to know where your resources are going, where your energy is going, right? And how, whether that, does that make sense? Does it need, because this will give you more of a guideline of what you're working with. And of course, when you know what you're working with, then you can, oh, I heard finagle that. Yeah, I connect again. I've been pulling this card a lot, which helps connect all the dots. It helps you to have, I heard, more time to be able to spend on your own. Maybe for some of you, this is where it's like there's a lot of for some of you, it's like your children in your life, and it's kind of like either your children are grown and now it's like you're here as yourself, or it's where you have children but you want to be more than just a mother and a father I mean, this could be a foundational role of you, but it's also like, what do you want to do as an individual and achieve in this life? Now, of course, that helps everything. So also, if creativity is a little bit low, that's because you're supposed to be doing more practical things, more Saturnian things. And I do see this would be a very nice time to pause. Because I think whatever that transformation is, especially if it's spiritual, people talk about this in a very positive way, but it can be hard sometimes when you come to a new space. And especially when you gain a lot of faith, there's always a bit of a test. Wheel of Fortune. And the Strength card. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. A bit of a test to, how you're going to handle that. Yep. And I want you to know that you can, and you know exactly what to do. It's just an elevation in who you are and all that you are meant to become. Thank you so very much for being here. I do hope this reading was of service. I wish you the best. Any of you who I worked with last year or anytime personally, worked with privately, thank you so very much for taking that extra step. It's always a pleasure to walk together. And of course, Patreon too, taking that additional step and planting your little seed in the garden and learning. I really hope that you're enjoying that space. That space has been growing, which is really beautiful, slow and steady. I like that pace anyway. But yes, I thank you deeply and dearly for all your support, and I wish you the happiest 2022, or whenever you find this, a beautiful new year to you, Libra. Please take care. Don't forget to love yourself and love others, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.